everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a video on Mind Games perfumes. This is a fragrance brand that recently launched in Selfridges in the UK. They're available in Nordstrom in America as well. And I have their 2 discovery boxes here. So I'm going to take you through them and give you my first impressions. If you are new here, then hello and welcome. I'm all about perfumes. I have hundreds, over 1,000 videos like this, not just on perfume ranges and niche perfumes, but designer perfumes, celebrity perfumes, perfume notes, perfumers. So do check out my other content. And if you're a regular viewer, do make sure you're subscribed and give the video a thumbs up. That really helps me. So the Mind Games perfume brand is inspired by chess. So I thought I'd heard it all when it came to different inspirations behind perfumes, but they're all about chess. So lots of their perfumes are named after like chess moves and things like that. They've only been going for a few years, but they have so many different fragrances. So I better get started. Like always, guys, I'll leave the links to where these are available around the world down below in the description box. So let's start off with the first discovery set. So these are really pretty, beautifully presented. They've got little like shiny silver on the top. So let's start off with Grand Master, which is of course the name of like you get when I think you win like the ultimate chess tournament. I can see from the colour of the liquid that this is probably going to be quite strong. So this is a spicy ambery rose perfume, definitely giving me sort of Middle Eastern vibes. I can get incense in here, like warm, like myrrh, those classic Middle Eastern fragrance notes. And then the rose is quite deep and intense and spicy. It's not a fresh rose at all. I believe these are all unisex, but this is definitely for someone that really wants to make an impression. So next up we have Goddess. So this is an iris fragrance. It's that orris root, deep, powdery. Again, I definitely get that woody smell, almost like an old library, you know, like the smell of old books. There's a hint of something sweet there. It says it has a popcorn note in. It's not particularly sweet overall, but I do get that hint. That's quite cozy and comforting and slightly sweet woody fragrance, that one. Okay, next up we have Scholar's Mate. So this is a bit of more fresh, spicy, slightly aromatic perfume. I can get cardamom in here, which gives it that crisp freshness. It's actually sort of giving me a little bit of Dior Sauvage vibes. Bit of citrus, quite clean, fresh, not as deep and dark as the previous 2. So next up we've got Double Attack. So that one is quite chocolatey, and it's a dark chocolate, you know, it's not a milky chocolate, it's deep, woody chocolate. That definitely really smells like chocolate. There aren't that many perfumes that are really chocolatey. There's plenty that have like a hint of chocolate in. This one actually smells like you've just opened a bar of like rich dark chocolate. Yes, if you're looking for a chocolate perfume, that could be a good option. So next up we have Jadoub. So this is totally different to the others. This is a fruity, slightly tart pomegranate with a rose. So kind of like a lychee rose, pomegranate rose. Reminds me of things like Carolina Herrera, Very Good Girl, Parfum de Marly Delina. Really sharp, clean and fruity, but not sweet fruity. It's that like slightly sour pomegranate, red currants. That's my favorite so far because you guys know I love my fruity perfumes. So next up we have Checkmate, and this one comes in a slightly different bottle that's white. So it's kind of like the black and the white of the 2 colors of the chess pieces. So this is a lighter rose, quite simple, and it's a patchouli rose. So it's a little bit heavier, more classical rose. The patchouli is actually really coming through. At first it was very rosy and now it's coming through more patchouli. So quite a classic, kind of like a, kind of like Coco Mademoiselle but without the orange and orange blossom. Very classical rose, like patchouli rose is a very distinct combination. So next up we have Caesar. So that's quite a delicate white floral, gardenia, jasmine, and then it does have a hint of a sort of ambroxan musky base, like a lot of the Juliette Havre-de-Gun perfumes do. That's quite pretty, feminine, clean, and the jasmine isn't too strong. Yeah, that's definitely quite pretty, quite feminine. So next up we have Asuli's Diamond. It's quite an intense, powdery, incensey smell, kind of like someone is burning incense near you. And then it also feels quite powdery as well. Not sure about that one for me. You know, incense is usually combined with other stuff, but here it's just really coming through. It's very incensey and very intense, that one. So next is Blockade. So this one has mango in. This one is tropical. You guys know I love mango. I put it in my second fragrance, Aphrodite. This is another one of my favorites from the range. Oh, it's very tropical. I love that. Definitely whisking me away to a tropical island. I'm getting the mango. Totally different to a lot of the others, which are like heavy and woody and incensey. So I wasn't expecting that. Yes, that's definitely another one of my favorites. Next up we have Castling. So this is a powdery, iris, violety. It's got a little bit of a Play-Doh scent in it there. Warm, powdery. Yeah, I definitely get Play-Doh in that. I actually quite like the smell of Play-Doh. Yeah, it's like a sweet iris. If you remember the Wheel of VA Bell, it kind of reminds me of that. So that's the end of that discovery set. We then come to the next discovery set. So many. So this one is called Ruby Lopez. Now that's a very intense, deep, heavy cherry. Ooh, with a sort of leathery woodiness in there as well. Very wintry. I don't think I've really smelt like a leather and a cherry mix before. A little bit like the depth that's in Kayali Love First Burning Cherry, but much like even heavier, more leather, deep, heavy woods. That would be nice, like on a man in the depth of winter. It's very cozy, very strong too. So next up we have Gambit. Oh wow, this is very masculine. Lavender and cardamom, that classic Sauvage combination. Bit of a clove in there as well. To me that smells like a classic male fragrance. So next up is Caesar. So this is a vanilla, for quite a creamy, warm vanilla. Quite cozy and a bit like milky, like a vanilla milkshake type thing, like, but not super sweet. Quite comforting. It has a sesame note in, which I always find makes the fragrance very comforting and cozy. I like that one, definitely. So next up we have French Defense. So that's quite a sweet cherry with floral notes underneath, and it's got a little bit of a greenness that's from a geranium note. I always find geranium is more green than it is floral. So it smells a bit like being outside, like a cherry tree with bushes around it. You can smell the cherries, but you can also smell all the bushes there too. So this one is En Prise. Now this is very light citrus, sharp lemon, sharp ginger, a hint of greenness underneath from vetiver. I'd say that's the lightest of all the ones I've tried so far. Definitely one for very hot weather. Next one is called Sans Voir. So that's a very clean, woody, sort of sea breeze fragrance. I can get the salt from the sea. It's got a cypress note, which is traditionally used in these very like ocean breeze type fragrances, and Palo Santo that gives that kind of driftwood type scent. Very wearable, very sailing beach vibes. The next one is called The Forward. So this has got a grapefruit note in, which I love. So again, it's quite light. I get just a very simple, clean pomelo grapefruit, a hint of sort of oranges and lemons and other citrus, but just very pure citrus scent. Very fresh. I like that. I love a grapefruit. The next one is called Queening. So this is another soft vanilla, powdery vanilla. Comforting, and I get a hint of coconut in this. Coconut and vanilla do work really well together. Quite subtle, clean, sort of clean girl, vanilla, clean girl vibes. And then the last one is called Lionora. So this one has a subtle passion fruit, subtle apricot, fruity, quite subtle. It's not too tangy, it's more like musky clean. I do quite like that. I like it because it's a bit tropical. So my favourites, definitely Blockade, that has the mango note in, and the Caesar Mind that was like that sesame and vanilla, quite creamy. So definitely quite a variety there. So many different fragrances there, and everything from like fruity to florally to spicy, woody. It's quite a good selection, very unusual, and of course being all named after different chess moves and stuff is very unique. Let me know if you've tried any of the Mind Game fragrances, which is your favourite. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will link to where you can get them, where they're available around the world, down below in the description box. But that's it guys, so thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!